This is a review of the Kershaw Cryo. Very popular knife, very often reviewed on YouTube, but I figured I'd throw my 2 cents out there anyway. So here we go. 2012 Blade Show, this won Best Buy of the Year. It is a budget-friendly knife. It's a Rick Hinderer design, collaboration with Kershaw. So you get the Rick Hinderer design and the Rick Hinderer aesthetic without the Rick Hinderer price tag, as those knives tend to be quite expensive. We'll get into the construction of this. It's an all steel construction, a frame lock design, and all that steel definitely packs on the weight. This weighs in at 4.1 ounces, so pretty hefty for a knife of this size. Weight's not a huge issue for me, but it might be for you, so that could be a detracting factor when considering this knife. Also, that steel does not offer much in the way of grip. It's quite slick, especially if your hands are moist or wet. You're going to be slipping around quite a lot on this knife. It's a spring-assisted knife. It comes with Kershaw's Speed Safe design. You can deploy it with either the thumb studs or the finger flipper. And those throw out the blade, which is 2.75 inches long, a drop point blade with a hollow grind, made from 8CR13 MOV with a titanium carbonitride coating. 8CR13 MOV is a Chinese-made steel found on a lot of budget-friendly knives. Not the greatest steel, but for the price point, it's definitely adequate. I cut a lot of cardboard and other packing materials at my job where I carry this knife, and I'm surprised at how well the coating is holding up. You can find some minor scuffing on the tip of the blade and a little bit on the belly, but with the amount of cutting I've done, I'm quite pleasantly surprised at how well this is wearing. Ergonomics of this knife are okay. It's a little small for my hand. I know they're coming out with a Kershaw Cryo 2, which is basically this exact knife, just blown up. It's half an inch longer in the blade, and everything else is increased in proportion. And I think that would alleviate a lot of the ergonomic issues that I have. It's going to be a heavier knife than even this, but I think it would definitely fill my hand a little better. My fingers just feel a little cramped on the knife. I don't think I have particularly large hands, but the blade's just a little small for my liking. And being a budget knife, Kershaw had to cut some corners, or rather not cut corners. So you're going to find a lot of sharp edges on this knife, particularly on the lock bar. That's my issue right there. Since it is steel construction, it does take a fair amount of force to move the lock bar over, and that sharp edge right there can be a little irritating to your thumb, especially if you're opening or closing your knife quite frequently, like I do at work. That tends to be a little irritating. Also, the finger flipper, the edges on this are not rounded as well. The finger flipper doubles as a finger guard when it's in the open position, and the edges right there, since my fingers are sort of cramped on here, my index finger presses up against those edges, and it could be a little irritating at times. So with those issues mentioned, I'm really interested in seeing the Cryo 2 and how that stacks up and how that fits my hand. One of the nice things about this, even though it is a budget knife, you still do get the Rick Hinderer lock bar stabilizer, which prevents you from overextending the lock bar and bending it. That's a nice and welcome feature on a budget knife. Pocket clip is drilled for tip up, tip down, left or right hand carry, so it accommodates everyone. It's a deep carry pocket clip, so this will drop quite low in your pocket. No issues with it, except for the fact that since this is a frame lock design, depending on the orientation of the pocket clip, you can catch up on some of these edges in your pocket, and it can be a little bit of a pain to get in and out sometimes with all these different pieces to snag on. It's a Torx construction, so you can take it apart if you so choose. If you need to replace the lock bar, or not the lock bar, the torsion bar in there, the spring, you can do that easily. Nice lanyard hole. Pillar construction flow through for easy cleaning. All in all, an excellent little knife, especially for the price. Right now on Blade HQ, these are retailing for about $26.99, and from other retailers you can find them firmly in the $30 range. So definitely a budget-friendly knife, and for what you're paying, I think it's an excellent offering from Kershaw.